Trying to stay consistent. I'll read you this story out of where they happened at. This DoorDash employee arrested for trying to steal order placed by paralyzed Mississippi deputy. Mm. Madison County, Mississippi. A DoorDash employee has been arrested after allegedly trying to steal the order of a retired deputy left paralyzed in the line of duty. On Monday afternoon, the Madison Police Department received a call from retired Madison County Deputy Brad Sullivan regarding a DoorDash order he had placed at Academy Sports in Madison. In 2019, Deputy Sullivan was shot twice in the head while pursuing a kidnapping suspect. The chase left the father of two paralyzed on his left side. Deputy Sullivan explained to officers on Monday that he placed the order for his son and that it showed the order had been picked up by a DoorDasher named Dennis K. Deputy Sullivan went on to say that he contacted the store and the manager told him Dennis K picked up the order and left the store with it. A short time later, however, the order was shown as canceled. Deputy Sullivan never canceled the order. When Deputy Sullivan contacted a DoorDasher, later identified as Terrell Hampton of Jackson, Mississippi, Hampton told Deputy Sullivan that he did not have his order and refused to bring it to him. Though through the cooperation of Academy Sports and investigative tools utilized by the Madison Police Department, it was determined that Hampton had, in fact, exited the store with Deputy Sullivan's merchandise, and his vehicle was identified. A short time later, officers were able to locate and stop the vehicle driven by Hampton. During the stop, officers found a firearm, marijuana, and merchandise belonging to Deputy Sullivan. The merchandise consisted of two pairs of shoes, two shirts, and two pairs of shorts. Officers arrested Hampton for petty larceny, improper equipment, and possession of marijuana while in possession of a firearm. Deputy Sullivan's merchandise was returned to him, and Hampton was taken to the Madison County Jail. Idiot. Thank you, Madison PD. This is my first and last time using DoorDash. That I will use DoorDash. Can't even order from DoorDash without somebody want to steal your property. Thug. Thug. I was on Facebook too. Wait a minute, he's still in high school. He's 19 years old. Let's see what else I want to talk about. I miss them. Civil alert for Jackson issue for Jackson Man. Civil alert. Farewell to renewing your driver's license. The new U.S. government legislation proposes that DMV really Amtrak announces new service to run along Gulf Coast. See the new route. 4 stops in Mississippi. Farewell to renewing your driver license. The new U.S. government legislation proposes that the DMV double the length of driver licenses. North Carolina is overwhelmed, and more Americans are going to the Department of Motor Vehicles to request some kind of procedure, which has caused appointments to be delayed. A lot of the offices can't keep up. That is why a group of Congress members from the state has pushed a new law that, far from being crazy, would ease the situation at the offices a bit. Being able to drive legally with an expired license. The laws come after the DMV appointment system collapsed, and it is presented under the bill, House Bill 821, which has already passed the Transportation Committee. And the goal is to extend the validity of driver licenses for more than 2 years to ease the pressure the system is currently facing. And although the measures is temporarily temporary and still needs to go through more filters, the truth is that it could mark a turning point for DMVs. That's in North Carolina. Amtrak. CBS fans share disappointment as hit family series is canceled after one season. Papa's House was canceled after one season on CBS. The comedy series had a father and son duo, Damon Wayans and Damon Wayans Jr., playing father and son. It was canceled. Mm. J.C. Penney stores are closing in May. It's a list of stores closing. Okay, the shops that I read this already. West Ridge Mall in Topeka, Kansas, Pine Ridge Mall in Pocatello, Idaho, Rocks Fox Run Mall in Newton, New Hampshire, Asheville Mall in Asheville, North Carolina, Charleston Town Center in Charleston, West Virginia are closing their JCPenney stores. The shops in Northfield in Denver is closing. Couple accused of writing bad checks to local Amish stores in Wilmington Township, Pennsylvania. Now, why would you go and do that? Why? A man accused of armed robbery and his wife facing forgery charges after allegedly passing bad checks at grocery stores. According to the criminal complaint, Pennsylvania State Police were dispatched to an Amish community grocery store in Wilmington Township on April 1st. The owner of the store said two personal checks received as payment the day prior were invalid, as the account of the checks no longer existed. Really? Reports state that a male and female entered the store on March 31st, purchased $264.62 in merchandise, and asked for $60 in cash back. The owner said the woman entered the store later in the day requesting an additional $200 in cash back and was refused an amount that high. Woman then passed a check for $39.82 in merchandise, and the owner asked her for a license, which she said she forgot, reports state. The owner then watched her leave the store and wrote down her license plate number. Mm. Police obtained the checks and contacted them back to personal bank account of a deceased woman from Volant. The identity they identified the suspects as West Middlesex couple Todd and Gina Baker, based on the car's registration. In a traffic stop on April 2nd, police found a couple with a checkbook that matched the bad checks, as well as bags of groceries that could be found at Amish stores, report states. The merchandise was later confirmed to be from the Amish store in Wilmington and returned. This store told police in reports that they received two checks from the same for the same amount in the amounts of $141 on March 31st and $312 on April 1st. And that Todd had asked for $100 in cash during each purchase. A criminal complaint states that Gina Baker told police she and Todd passed checks from Todd's deceased grandmother account at various Amish stores over several days. And she said she filled out the checks because Todd did not know how to, according to reports. Oh my God. Gina was charged with 4 counts of forgery and bad checks and 1 count of theft by deception. Details on her bail were not available, but she is not currently listed in the Mercer County Jail and was arraigned on Monday. Her next court date has not been set. The owner of Wilmington Township store told police in a later interview that Todd had recently been providing power washing services to local Amish families and businesses. Todd was charged with 4 counts of forgery and bad checks and 1 count of theft by deception. And his bail was set at $25,000 during arraignment Monday. He remains in the Mercer County Jail, unable to post. He is due back in court on May 15th. Todd is also accused of allegedly robbing a man at gunpoint on March 27th in Lackawanna Township. He is due next in common pleas court for this case in July 1st. Haitian woman dies in U.S. immigration detention. Haitian woman dies in immigration detention. At least six others have died in ICE custody in fiscal 2025, which began in October. ICE data shows. A Haitian woman who was among those held in allegedly inhumane conditions has died after more than 10 weeks in immigration custody. Maria Angie Blaze, 44, was stopped by federal agents at the airport in St. Croix in the Virgin Islands in mid February, and she prepared to board a flight to Charlotte, North Carolina, according to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. In a statement, ICE said Blaze did not have a valid immigrant visa. Through additional details about her immigration status weren't immediately available. We strongly believe her death could have been prevented. Director of the nonprofit Haitian Bridge Alliance. Who the hell want to go back to Haiti anyway? So bad over there. Them watcher messed up again. Did it? Did it stop?
Don't care what anybody thinks about me, what anybody got to say about me. I've overcome obstacles that most people would not have been able to live through. Let me tell you something. What I don't want to deal with, Sway, can kiss my. I don't care what anybody thinks about. Really dumb enough to think I'd tell you anything, you dumb dirty hoe. I wouldn't tell you what color socks I got on. Really dumb enough. I need you now more than any other. Would you put my heart like you get anything? So wrong to my head, just to find out your things better. I did. What you got about it? Nothing. I did. Your muffins and the. Yeah, what the snow, the putaria. When did you two first meet? We actually first met in an audition for Outmatched on a show called Fox.
Yeah.
Really? They did one season on Fox.
Because
But
COVID happened, and then it had to.
right. And they said you'll be playing the husband of Tisha Campbell. And I'm like, I love Tisha Campbell.
We all do.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what? And I remember calling my brother. I said, man, I did this job, you know, with Tisha Campbell. He was like, the one that played opposite of Martin. And I was like, yeah. The one that played opposite of Damon Wayans. I said, yeah. He was like, you ain't gonna get it. All I know is I went in there, I did my best, and then
I actually called him.
I'm driving on the way home later that day. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, I didn't hear anything. Tisha Campbell calls my phone. You called him?
I called him and I told him how well he did.
Wow.
Yeah. I had to because he really killed that audition. I wanted him to feel good that, you know, no matter what, he was killing, but I knew he was going to get it.
I mean,
yeah.
But
That's how we first met.
That's how we first met.
Have you ever called her Gina?
All the time. I still call. Why you think you talk?
I'm used to it.
Why you think?
Are you used to it? Yes. My son calls me Gina.
Your son calls her?
Yeah. Somebody snuck and showed him the Martin show when he was little, and he was calling me Gina.
Our first table read, probably for the first 2 weeks, I'd be like, Gina. She would just look at me and just say, just go ahead.
Yeah, I just answered. Yeah. It's cool because you know what? The show, the impact that it still has, I appreciate it. So it doesn't bother me. Yeah. It actually makes me.
That means you did yourself with your. You also that attached to the character.
Yeah.
Now, is this your first comedy school?
First of all, I've never done stand-up in my life.
I was wondering this.
Never. You know, after COVID isolation and when you're by yourself, you don't have to hear any of the noise, the crowd noise telling you what you can or cannot do. And I wanted to try everything that I ever wanted to do. This was one of them, but I've always been too afraid. I was scared to do it. And it just so happened that my friend D Nice, we love D Nice.
We love D Nice. Yes, we know.
Yeah. He was having a residency at the Kennedy Center, and it was a 3 nights, and one was a comedy show, and his host fell out. Since I was coming to support him anyway, I went up there, and he was like, "Yeah, can you bring people up for me?" And I was like, "Sure." He was like, "Yeah, do 15 minutes before." I was like, "Oh, see,
goodness,
what?" But it winded up. By the time I got off stage, I had an agent.
Dang. It's so captivating and entertaining. And like you said, everybody loves you so.
Thank you. You know what? But did you tell her? You made me audition this for you?
Wait, what? What happened was, you know, a lot of people say they want to do stand-up. I've been doing stand-up for like 25 plus years.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a Comic View, BET Comic View vet. Yeah, so, you know, but when actors, they say, "Oh, I want to do stand-up." A lot of us be like, "Yeah, right. Stay in your lane."
Right.
We went to go have coffee.
You wanted to see if I was serious.
I had to look in her eyes because, you know,
I understand that.
Don't take me away from like my family if you're not gonna do it. You know what I mean? That type of thing.
That's right.
And she was so sincere and so like excited. But I looked at her. I said, "Oh, you want to do this for real?"
Yes.
And
He
so
sure did say.
No, I was like, "Okay, let's give it a try."
Trump National Security Advisor Mike Waltz and his deputy to leave post in White House. What's going on? According to multiple sources familiar with the departure, they are expected to leave Thursday. Sources say the White House did not immediately respond to the request for comment. Journalist Mark Harperin first reported the departure. The president's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, is having conversation with some of the National Security Council staff today, resources said. In March, Waltz came under scrutiny after he put together a signal chat and mistakenly included the Atlantic Jeffrey Goldberg, disclosing discussion with top national security officials about plans for the military strike on Houthi targets in Yemen. Goldberg published his account and he initially omitted operational details after Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Director of National Intelligence, the CIA Director John Ratcliffe, denied any classified information had been shared on the chat. Goldberg published the information too, which included the timing of the strikes and weapons package used. After Waltz admitted behind closed doors that the authenticity of the reporting, White House officials debated whether he should resign. But Waltz never made the offer. And Mr. Trump did not ask him to step down at the time. President Trump signaled his support for Waltz by calling him a good man who learned a lesson. One source familiar with the situation at the National Security Council said the president thinks sufficient time has passed since the signal incident that Waltz was in Wong department said can be framed as part of reorganization. The president has been hesitant to oust Waltz over the perception that doing so could be sending a binding to outside pressure. Wong served in the first Trump administration as deputy special representative of North Korea and also a deputy assistant secretary for East Asia and Pacific Affairs at the State Department. In announcing his appointment, Mr. Trump said Wong helped negotiate his summit with North Korea leader Kim Jong-un. Prior public television officials sue Trump administration to block terminations. Need to text her. Oh, let me find her number. These officials have been terminated from the Cooperation of Public Broadcasting, the nonprofit that oversees funding for public television and radio, according to a lawsuit filed Tuesday against the Trump administration. 3 members of the group board of directors, Tom Rothman, Diane Kaplan, and Laura Ross, said in a court filing that President Trump doesn't have the authority to fire them. Indeed, under the act, Congress made it clear that the CPD is a private corporation over whom the president has no authorities to say the ability to nominate members of the board of directors with the advice and consent of the Senate. Lawyers for the trio wrote in a court filing. The 3 ousted officials are seeking to block determinations. According to the court documents, the 3 board members received an email from Trent Morse, the deputy director of the White House personnel, that notified the board members that their position were terminated. The correspondent said in a full, on behalf of President Donald J. Trump, I am writing to inform you that your position in the Corporation of Public Broadcasting is terminated effective immediately. Thank you for your service. Oh, there was no further reason given for the termination. In a statement, White House spokesman Taylor Rogers said that the courts have affirmed the Constitution gives President Trump the power to remove personnel who exercise his executive authority. The Trump administration looks forward to ultimately victory on this issue. We shall see. We shall see. Okay. So thinking we'll get it Monday. A family in Alabama is demanding answers after their 4-year-old daughter spent 2 days in ICU, saying she was picked up from school with a blood alcohol content of 0.29. The girl's mother, Mary Singleton, says that when she picked up her daughter from school on Monday, her daughter's body was limp. Doctors later discovered that the little girl had ingested a large amount of ethanol. Oh my God. Where did she get ethanol from? Car parts are good.
Did everything I do. It's like nothing new. Wanted to keep on. Keep only.
You still have that 30 pounds. What are you talking about? Everybody that you beef with, everybody that you're talking to, everybody that you talk about does more views than you. It don't matter if our views is low.